Hello guys, this is Bhagesh Codebeast and today we'll be learning about Git and GitHub. So basically Git and GitHub are version control systems. So version control, also known as revision control, source control or source code management systems, are systems responsible for management of changes to document, computer programs, as well as large websites and other collections of information. Basically what this enables you to do is once you edit a certain code, also be a text file or a poem or a story which you're working on. So what happens is sometimes you feel the previous version was better. Just in case you chuck the idea in the current version and you want to have a look at it again or you want to refer to it again, you can just trace back to that version and have a look at what changes you made previously and what has changed in the current file. You can kind of compare both the files or even roll back to the previous file, as in this tool basically helps you in time traveling with respect to documents. So let's get started. Firstly, create an account in github.com. It's completely free and it's open source. Once you have GitHub account on github.com, go to Google and just type out Git, and after that the first link which you'll get, just click on that and download Git. So once you have Git installed, you can just open your command line, Windows command line terminal, and just type in git -- version to check the current version as well as to check whether it has installed properly. So once you have these two things ready, we can get started. So once you have Git installed, you need to configure the GitHub to recognize who you are. To do that, the first thing you'll have to type in is git config, which stands for configuration, and we are configuring Git to listen to our account and not anybody else's. So after git config, just type in -- global if you're the only person using GitHub or Git in your PC, or local if you want to access only a specific directory or a specific file in your system. But before you type local, make sure you're in that specific directory. With global, you can be in any corner of the system and you can still configure the files. So after typing git config -- global, type in user.name and your name which you used while creating the GitHub account. For me, it's Bhagesh Codebeast. So I'll just type in that. So after this, just hit enter. It'll accept all the requests from you with the ID Bhagesh Codebeast. So after you're done setting up this, just hit enter. So we have added the username. Now after this, we need to add our email. It's a similar command, git config -- global followed by user.email. So this time around you have to type in the email which you used to sign into this online repository which you created. So just type out your email, for example @gmail.com. You just hit enter after this and email ID and username will be updated. So the way you check whether both of these details have been updated or not is by typing git config -- list. So with this command, somewhere in this mess is your username and email ID. So we are done with configuring our Git locally. This was the configuration part. Now let's just head back to how we can manage our files and upload them to the repository which we created online. So the first thing which we'll be going through is a short workflow as to how we can put Git and GitHub into our everyday working to manage our documents or versions of the documents. So first thing you'll have to do is, once you have this account ready, you'll see a plus icon on the top right. Just click on that. You'll see multiple options. For now, what we are concerned with is creating a new repository. Just click on new repository. After that, you'll be prompted with this screen. Here you'll get to choose the name of the repository. Make sure to keep it as specific to your project or documents or whatever script you're writing to. I have made a script which uses Python's pandas module to sort some data. So I'll be naming it as Python pandas. So it's showing me that it's available. So after that, you have the option to give a short description. This is optional again, but just in case when you visit this repository after years or after months or maybe weeks, you'll get an idea just by reading at the description. So let's give it a description. I'll call it pandas module for analysis of laptops data, and you also get an option to make it public and private, as long as you're not working on something which you don't want to share with people or which is specific to an organization or your workplace. I would suggest you all to keep it public. else you can go with private. And after that, this is very important, I feel. Initialize this repository with readme. Readme is a text file. It actually contains your description, which you mentioned here, along with if you want to add any extra details regarding description for your project or what modules you use in that project, you can use readme. It's like the landing page of a website. The readme file looks somewhat like that. So after you're done putting all these details, just click on create repository. So yeah, this is what I was talking about, readme.md. It puts a description in here and the title in here. So this essentially is a file. You can edit it by clicking this pencil icon. So right now our repository only has readme.md file. There are multiple options to add files here. You can click add file, create new file, or just upload whatever scripts you have already written and they'll be all present right here. But what we'll be doing today is interacting with GitHub using get from the command line terminal. I'll show you right now how to do that. Firstly, go to the section called code once you have created the repository and copy this address which is given here by clicking on this clipboard. So once you're done copying that, head back to your terminal, go to the folder wherein you want to store this repository, cd documents github. So I'm in the GitHub directory. And one more thing to note is that every repository will be stored as a different folder in your system. So the command to clone your repository which you created in GitHub after copying this address is git clone followed by the address which you copied. Just click on enter. And after that, you can just do dir and check for the files. So Python pandas has been created here. This actually is a directory and we can just cd into this. And if I check the contents of this file, there's just only readme.md file which was created right here. So what I'm going to do is put in some files in this folder. So I'm done adding few files in this folder. If I check dir again, you'll see that I've added quite a few files here, other than readme.md, which includes Python, CSV, Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, so you can add any kind of files, even .txt, CSV, any kind of files in which you want to save in your repository. It's not restricted. After that, the next step we'll have to do is check the status of your current repository. For that, just type in git status. Also remember to run these commands which I'm going to tell you all now. You should be in the directory or folder which you cloned. And second thing, I'll be giving all these commands in the description. So just watch it right now and you can try it out once you have understood what each command does. So the first command we'll be using is called git status. This basically compares your status of the local branch, which is the thing which you cloned in your system, to the repository which was created on github.com. So once you hit on git status, it will highlight all the files which you added in this directory, which are highlighted in red, which means that they are not being tracked right now. So whatever changes you make here will not be tracked. And one good thing about Git is that it gives you suggestion as to what you have to do next. You don't have to Google it all the time. In case you forget any commands, it will give you right here. The sole command I would tell you to remember is just git status. So the first command it's asking us to type in is git add, which will add all these files into tracking mode. That is, it will allow Git to track all these files. So to do that, just type in git add. If you want to add only a single file, just specify the name of the file. For example, asus.csv, or just in case there are multiple files and you want to add all of them, you can just put dot. This signifies that the entire directory will be tracked for changes. So once you have typed out this command, just hit enter. So these are some warning signs or stuff like that. You don't have to bother yourself with this right now. So after this, once we have added all the files by using git add, we'll check git status again. This time around we have all the files which are indicated in green. That means all of these files are being tracked right now. Just in case by mistake you added a file by using that git add space period, you want to remove a file, Git is giving you the suggestion right here. You can type in git restore -- staged and the name of the file, and it will withdraw that file from being tracked by Git. So the next command we'll be using is git commit. So this command basically tracks our files. That is, it commits the changes whenever we make them. Adding the files will allow the system to read those files, while git commit is used to commit the changes, as in make the changes permanent. So with the commit, we pass in an argument called -m, which stands for message. So we use messages so as to, when we want to trace back the previous changes, have a look at the previous changes, we can just read the commit messages which we put along with the commit and track those changes or identify those changes. Make sure to keep these commit messages short and meaningful, because just in case if you don't, it will cause a problem to you, because you won't be able to identify as to what changes I made previously. I'll put a message as uploading Python scripts. So that's all you have to do. Git commit -m followed by the message you want to pass in quotes, and after that hit enter. It will tell me that 3 files has been changed and the 228 lines of insertion and the name of the files which were changed. After this, what I'll be doing is using the command git push. So basically what this command does is pushes all the changes which I have committed to the repository which is online here. If I refresh this again, even now you can just see the readme.md file. It still doesn't have all the files which I have put into this directory. So I'll just have to type git push and hit enter. So it is showing me that it has added this to the repository python-pandas.get with hash code here and to the master branch. You don't have to bother yourself with what is happening here. This is a ton load of data to digest in. For now, just remember that git push command pushes all the commits which you have done locally, or pushes all the changes which you have done locally to the repository which is online. If I go back to the repository and check what happened to the repository here, so as you can see, all the files which were there in my directory with the CSV, PY or the Jupyter Notebook has been added to the online directory. This is how you upload the changes which you make to your files to the online repository. So as you can see, all the files have been uploaded here, and I can have a look at the files right from here. This is a Jupyter Notebook, so I can have a look at this file right from here, or if I want to make any changes, I can just click on this edit button or pencil icon and edit the file real time on the website itself. So the next thing which we'll be learning is how to go back to the previous version. I'll open a file here, I'll use VS Code editor to interact with this. So let me just create a file here with the name error.txt. So I'll just add in some text here. I'll save it. So right now I have one extra file which says error.txt. If I go back to the terminal and check the status of my current branch or repository which is hosted locally, it says that error.txt has not been tracked since it's a new file. So as you know, the drill is first type in git add. Let me just clear the screen first. So type in git add and the name of the file which you want to add, error.txt, and then commit the changes by git commit. So once you have added the file, you'll have to commit the changes with a message error has been added. Cool. It's saying that one file has changed with 1 insertions, and yep, that's all. The push is successful, and if I go back to the repository and refresh this, there is no file. We forgot to do one thing, that is push the files which we created. Git push will push all the files which we created or edited. Yeah, that's all. It has been pushed to Python pandas git, and if I refresh it again, you'll see that error.txt is here, and if I check the contents, yeah, it has that error which we created. So the next thing is how to check the history, or how to see what changes you have made over the time. You can check it right from here by clicking on commits. It will show you all the messages, commit messages, along with code which you can copy if you want to, roll back. I'll show it to you how to do that in a while. And also, if you click on this angle brackets, you can see the changes which you made or the version of your repository. For example, right now there is error.txt here, but if I go back to the initial commit, there are no files. This was the repository when I created it initially. This is how it was. And if we check uploading Python script, it will have all the files except error.txt, which I added at the end in the third commit. So the next thing we'll be doing is checking the history locally. For that, just type in git log, hit enter. It'll give you a detailed description as to who made the changes and on what date they made the changes, along with a commit message. This is too long. If you have like hundreds and thousands of commit messages to deal with, this is too long. So how to make this short is type in git log hyphen one line and hit enter. So it just show you the code and the commit messages which you had made. So just in case if I want to remove the error file and roll back the version to the previous one, that is d7d blah blah blah, where I uploaded all the scripts, I can just type in git checkout and the code, that is d7dc6. I think this much is fine, 5 characters is fine. If I hit enter, previous head position was found, error has been added. This was the commit message, and head is now d7d blah 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 uploading Python scripts. It's saying that the head, which was this, which had an error, has been reverted back to this version where I just uploaded the scripts. Just in case if I type dir and check my file, you'll see that error file is gone. It's no longer there. So this is how you deal with the changes. Just in case you want to revert back or see what the changes you made, you can just use git checkout. Now I don't want to change, I just want to have a look at what changes I made previously. I can just type in git show. This command will show you the changes you made in the current commit. But if you want to check a specific commit, you can just type in the hash code again. For example, I'll type in D7, that's the only commit right now which I can check. D7 DC6. So if I hit enter, it'll show me that I have added quite a number of files here. And if you see, plus indicates the lines which I have been added. Along with that, it'll give you the name of the file, saying analysis.py had these lines and asus.csv had these lines. It'll just go on since there are like multiple files here. To quit this, just press Q and let me just clear this out. So if I go to the log again and if I want to check the initial commit, I can just type in git show again, followed by the commit ID C4D6B and hit enter. It'll just show me that I created only a readme.md file which constituted the title followed by the description of it. So this is how you check what changes you made with the IDs which are placed right besides the commit message. Now you get the idea as to why commit messages are important, right? You cannot understand the IDs, but the commit message, yes you can. So you can just go back to the commit message, type in git log hyphen one line, identify the commit message which you want to have a look at or the version which you want to have a look at, and type in git show to git show followed by the commit message to show the changes which you made in that file or in that commit or in that version of your repository. So you can do the same in GitHub by clicking on this angle brackets. So this is how you track all the files on GitHub. So what we covered today is how to create a repository on github.com, followed by how to clone the repository to your local system, that is by using git clone followed by the link which you copy from the code here. And the next command which we learned was git status to check the status of the current repository. After that, if you have added few files which are new to the system or the Git, you can just type in git add followed by the name of the file or just a period to add all the files which you have. And the next command was git commit followed by -m followed by message. So if you type in git commit, the changes will be committed or a copy of it will be stored. And the next command which we used was git push to push the changes to the online repository. All the files which you push will be uploaded directly to the online repository. And the next command which we learned was git log to check the logs of all the files, all the changes, all the commits which we made in the local repository. And just in case git log is too long for you and you have too many commit messages, you can just type in git log hyphen one line. And last command which we looked at was git checkout followed by the ID of whatever you want to revert back to, and git show followed by the ID to view the changes which you made during that commit or during that session. So these were all the commands which I use basically to handle all the files and manage all the projects. This is not just it. There are sometimes merge conflicts, which I call them commitment issues. To handle all of those, there are various commands, but as a programmer, these are the essential commands which you'll be using in your daily life. This was just a short tutorial about GitHub. Hope you had fun. This is Bhagesh Codebeast signing out. Thanks for watching.